Ramon Bautista from the Santa Monica Police Department, and then any other chiefs of police who may need additional resources as a result of these fires. We'll make sure that we do that. So for the last 24 hours or so, we have had approximately 400 National Guard members throughout the state ready to support us, and as I just stated, they will be coming in. We expect that they may be on site as soon as tonight. That may change a little bit, but they will be assisting us with traffic control and critical infrastructure protection. They will be staged throughout the Los Angeles region, and our Emergency Operations Bureau is currently working on specific missions that they will fulfill both in these affected county fire areas, the city of Pasadena, the city of Santa Monica, and the city of Los Angeles. This wouldn't be possible without the assistance of Governor Newsom, who approved this request. He's been consistently on the phone with our leadership asking what that we need, and we're very grateful for that. This effort will allow law enforcement to free up our resources and move personnel to other critical areas throughout the county, in a sense becoming a force multiplier. I'm going to switch gears a little bit now. Earlier there was a lot of questions, as there should be, about the death toll here in Los Angeles County as it specifically relates to the fire. Anytime I talk about numbers, whether they are fatalities or we're talking about potential looting arrest, I'm going to tell you something. The number just continuously fluctuates, and it's because we're still in a very chaotic scenario. And just to give you an idea, and I'm surrounded by a lot of firefighters, and the fire chief will come up and talk next, we're still working in a very fluid and active environment, meaning that there are still spot fires going on in areas, there's gas leaks. So when people are asking us for numbers of fatalities, we want to give them to you, but we have to wait until it's safe for our personnel to be able to go in there and do this right, because to some people, the death toll may just be a number. To us, on our side of the fence in public safety, each one of those numbers is a family member. We're going to have to make notifications with our partners at the coroner's office to let them know that they're not going to see their family members anymore. So just again, it's preliminary and it's absolutely going to change. But as of right now, and we stated this yesterday, we do have confirmed 5 deaths between Palisades and the Eaton fire. But that number again is going to change as more information comes in and when we start to get into the damaged area. The homicide detectives for the LA County Sheriff's Department are trying to get into the locations to process the scenes, but they've been delayed for the dangerous conditions that I just spoke about. But once homicide is able to get in there, they'll do the death investigations, and then we'll have more complete information that a lot of people are asking us for. I also want to mention that our team has been working on a curfew. Our goal is to attempt to implement a curfew within the specific impacted areas around the 2 fire areas, both for Palisades and Eaton. As we work through the legal process to get that done, the goal is to try and implement it tonight. If we're not able to do that, that may happen maybe by tomorrow night. That curfew looks like it'll be from 6 p.m. To 6 a.m. Again, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. That will be the goal. We will be enforcing that. I think if most of you heard our press conference earlier today, we had a number of looting arrests throughout the entire county region. That is unacceptable behavior. Having additional resources, having the National Guard with us, which will augment those resources, will help send a stronger message, keep people out of the impacted areas so we don't continuously victimize the people who have already been victimized, who have lost their homes. So we'll continue to work on the evacuation orders. As soon as we can, we'll give you more specific information, because a big legal part of that is that we have to notify our community of what it is and how that works. And just to wrap up for us, we have increased resources for our burglary and looting suppression. Unfortunately, there have been crimes out there that have been reported to us by residents who have evacuated their homes. Our deputies continue to do an amazing job of conducting humanitarian missions, and they've had many, many rescues. And I do want to stress that the majority of the people they are having to rescue out of homes and vehicles are individuals that chose not to evacuate, not only putting themselves in danger, but putting the first responders in more significant danger. So please, you hear this over and over, when somebody tells you to mandatory evacuate, please evacuate. Preliminarily, I know we're talking about 20 arrests. Preliminarily, we have about 12 arrests related to looting. And again, that number hasn't been confirmed. We're checking that. We're also getting the number of about 16, and that's at the multiple impacted areas throughout the county of Los Angeles. But we'll continue to collaborate. And as I stated earlier, I'm in constant contact with the California Office of Emergency Services. That's where we made the official request for the California National Guard. I've been in communication with the Commissioner of the California Highway Patrol. He's offered his assistance, and we've deployed with his partnership or collaboration multiple CHP officers for traffic control around the area. My last item is this. If you have any questions about current evacuation orders or warnings, or the many street closures that we have here in Los Angeles County, please visit lacounty.gov/emergency for updated information. And with that, I am going to now introduce the Fire Chief for Los Angeles County, best looking Fire Chief, Tony Maroney.
Thank you, Sheriff Luna and Supervisor Barger, Chair of the Board. So I'm going to limit my comments to an update for the Eaton Fire here in Los Angeles County that's affecting the unincorporated community of Altadena, in addition to the cities of Pasadena, Arcadia, and Sierra Madre. We remain in unified command. However, we have added one unified command partner. CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 3 has been assigned to the incident to assist with recovery operations. Recovery operations consists of trying to coordinate all of our human remain detection teams that will be going house to house to make sure that we can account for anybody who's been killed in the fire. Also setting up community recovery centers. They're also going to be doing damage inspection coordination for us. So the Eaton Fire is now estimated to be 13,690 acres. It's grown since our morning press conference because the fire is making a run towards the historic Mount Wilson area. We are still at 0% containment, but we now have a better estimation of the number of fire personnel assigned to the incident. We're now at 1,527 personnel assigned, and like this morning, additional mutual aid resources to continue to arrive to assist in the firefight. This morning we did have a firefighter suffer a significant injury in a fall. That firefighter is resting comfortably at an area hospital. He's in stable condition and he is expected to make a full recovery. We now have a confirmation that we have a potential for over 4,000 to 5,000 structures damaged or destroyed. The definition of a structure could be a single family residence, a multifamily residence, a commercial occupancy, an outbuilding, or a vehicle. So this morning I reported 1,000. We are now reporting 4,000 to 5,000 of those types of structures. The cause of the fire remains unknown and under investigation by the Sheriff's Department along with the LA County Fire Department and the U.S. Forest Service. The reason that the sheriff is going to be reporting fatality information, because the cause of the fire is unknown at this time, if it turns out that this was an arson fire, any death that relates from an arson fire is considered a murder, and the LASD investigates those types of crimes. The number of resources assigned to this fire siege has increased significantly, and we are in a much better posture than we were on Tuesday and Wednesday. Out-of-state resources continue to arrive in LA County, and we're appreciative of to all of our firefighters from throughout the Western United States for providing assistance to Los Angeles County in our time of need. Regarding the current red flag warning condition, as I stated this morning, it's going to continue for Los Angeles County and much of Ventura County through Friday, but I think we all realize that the winds have significantly diminished after the PDS was canceled 4 p.m. yesterday. So we're hoping that the weather is going to continue to cooperate so we can get some perimeter line in on the fire. I would now like to invite up the Operations Section Chief for California Interagency Incident Management Team 5, Don Fraguglia.
Okay, good day everybody. Like Chief said, my name is Don Fraguglia. I represent California Team 5. I'm going to give you an operational update on what's going on the fire right now as we speak. And I'm going to talk a little bit to the map behind me just so you know, and I'm going to use a pointer since it's kind of a small map. Okay, we're going to start over here on the right flank of the fire. This is Santa Anita Canyon. We're currently actively engaged there with several hotshot crews along the road and along the canyon bottom, and we're being successful. Throughout the day today, we've had rotor wing, the opportunity to fly rotor wing and fixed wing aircraft. The winds are still pretty high up there, so it's kind of a hit or miss deal. We get the aircraft up and we get them flying, and then it's just too dangerous for the pilots and they have to come back down. So it's a constantly evaluation, constant use of that aircraft, and we're being successful when we're able to fly them. As we come along the north end of the fire there, Mount Wilson was mentioned recently in this press conference. I want everybody to know the fire has made it to Mount Wilson. We're actively engaged there, and so far no loss to any values at risk at Mount Wilson. And we're feeling good about what we have to do up there tonight to keep that site secure. As we come across the top of this fire, over here towards the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, we're making good progress here as well. Values at risk obviously include the JPL among other things out there. So priority for me as an operations is this side of the fire over here is a high priority. We're concerned about the winds that are potentially coming to outflank us in the coming days. So all hands on deck. We're going to work day and night, and we expect to continue. You'll see some containment in the coming days. Thank you.
Thank you from the Operations Section Chief. So next up we'll have the Arcadia Fire Chief, Chen Swin.
Hello, my remarks will be brief. My name is Chen Swen, Fire Chief for the City of Arcadia. I just wanted to express my deepest gratitude and our deepest gratitude to our community, to our public safety partners up here, many who are standing up here just for their work on the East End. I wanted to provide an update, a website for our Arcadia residents and businesses. You can visit www.arcadia.ca.gov/2025 windstorm, or visit any of our social media platforms. Thank you.
Now we'll have Pasadena Fire Chief Chad Augusta. Chad.
Good afternoon, Chad Augustine, Pasadena Fire Chief. Thank you so much for being here today. I had the opportunity to fly this fire this morning, and the level of devastation is staggering. We're extremely thankful for all of our partner agencies here, local, state, and federal. We could not get a handle on this fire without them. For my residents, we're committed to get back to full restoration as long as that takes, and you'll have the continued support of everybody here in order to do that. Thank you.
And then Sierra Madre Fire Chief Brent Bartlett.
Good afternoon, Brent Bartlett with the City of Sierra Madre Fire Chief. And as my peers have already mentioned, thank you goes out to our partners in the efforts to managing and getting this under control. far as for my community as well, future information can be found on the city's website, Sierra Madre, city.sierramadre.com. And our next move is going to be looking at recovery and repopulation after we're getting a better assessment of the damage within our area. So again, thank you for the opportunity. I'd like to introduce Congresswoman Judy Chu for our next meeting.
I'm Congressmember Judy Chu, and I just took a tour of the destroyed areas led by Mayor Victor Gordo, and I could not believe the destruction of Altadena and Pasadena. Mariposa Junction, which had so many thriving small businesses, gone. Institutions like the Altadena Library and the Altadena Community Church, destroyed and gone. The homes that, so many homes that we saw with so many memories, gone. But one thing I have to say is that I have to really appreciate the first responders for making sure that the destruction was not even greater. I also want to say that there is help from Washington, D.C., and President Biden just announced something very, very important, which is our area has already been approved for the fire emergency management grants. It provides reimbursement for 75% of the firefighting costs. He just announced that he will reimburse 100% of the costs over the next 180 days. This is so important. The other thing I want to announce is that FEMA worked overtime to get their website going so that now you can go to disasterassistance.gov, input all your information, and you can see what you are qualified for and can get your place in line for disaster assistance. And then the third thing is that the FEMA administrator, Deanne Criswell, is coming out here from Washington, D.C. She toured the Palisades site, but she will be coming here later today to see what destruction occurred here at Eaton. And this is very important because FEMA has so many resources that individuals, small businesses, but also cities and locations can take advantage of, such as the clearance of roads. So help is on the way, and I know that we will get through this. And now I would like to introduce Mayor Victor Gordo, Pasadena.
Thank you, Congressmember. Let me first just say on behalf of the city of Pasadena and our residents that our thoughts and prayers are with all of those affected in the county of Los Angeles, including our neighbors in the Palisades, and certainly our community of Altadena, which we consider to be very much a part of the city of Pasadena. I'd like to thank all of the first responders with the county of Los Angeles, with the state, and those that are continuing to come to assist us. And it's not just those wearing the badge that are first responders. We have many civilians. We have Red Cross workers, volunteers, who we also consider to be first responders. In Pasadena, our police chief and our executive leadership team is considering a curfew, and we'll have more information as it relates to a curfew. We certainly will welcome the augmented services and additional assistance of the National Guard. And again, thank you to Sheriff Luna, thank you to the supervisor, chief, all chiefs for the work of your departments individually and collectively. We're asking if you are under a mandatory evacuation order. Those orders have not been lifted. And so we're starting to see people go back into those areas. And our message to you is stay out of those areas until you hear officially that the orders have been lifted. And you will hear that official word from the county and in the city of Pasadena, from the city of Pasadena. Thank you very much.
And I also want to thank the following individuals who are here with us today, showing their support. State Senator Sasha Renee Perez, Assembly Member John Harabedian, Assembly Member Jessica Caloza, Pasadena Police Chief Gene Harris, We truly do greatly appreciate you all being here. I know I've seen you more than I've seen my husband and my dog in the last week. But honestly, this is what it's about. We talk about community. It's also about working together to make sure that we work to make sure that our constituents are served. So with that, I'm going to open it up to questions.
Hold on one second.
Okay, that'll conclude our speakers for today. We're going to open it up to questions. Pono Barnes will be walking around with a microphone, so just state your name, who you want your question to be to, and what media outlet you're from.
Okay, yes, Amy Powell from ABC7. Question for Sheriff Luna. I know you said the details about the curfew are still being worked out, but can you talk about, would that involve blocking access roads to certain parts of these communities and how that might affect residents?
There's definitely going to be an impact on residents, but we will do whatever we can to brief the deputies and or National Guard members that are out there to be very sensitive to the needs of the residents. They've been through a lot, and we'll try and help them out as much as we can. Obviously, a big part of what we're doing is to protect the properties that are there. So in regard to specific details of road closures, we will be putting those out to what that looks like. We will try and minimize the impact to our community, but we're also trying to maximize the security around there. So we'll try and find a good balance. But I do want to reiterate that as we talk about the National Guard being deployed and or once the curfew comes on board, it's only going to affect the areas that have been heavily impacted by the fires. It is not a county-wide curfew. It will not impact other cities in the county that have not been impacted. What we're looking at as we're drawing up the paperwork, we're looking at the zones that were evacuated, that were mandatory evacuations. That's where our primary focus is, keeping in mind that the wind's still blowing, the fire's still not contained, and we will be flexible enough to adjust to those areas and then take away areas where eventually we will be repopulating certain neighborhoods.
For Congresswoman Chu, can the items that President Biden has ordered be undone after January 20th?
That is a very good question, and executive orders can be undone by the next president. But I just hope that President-elect Trump sees that he needs to be a president for all of America, and wildfires don't have a political party. They don't. And if he wants to represent all of America, then he needs to make sure this continues to go through for the next 180 days.
Sheriff Luna, Joe Kwan with Spectrum News 1. This may be a dumb question, but as far as the curfew, is somebody walks in at past 6 p.m. in those evacuated areas, how will that work? Just so, I've seen a lot of people walking just to see if their homes are okay, their neighborhoods are okay, they're frustrated. How is that going to work? They just cannot walk in there, they'll get arrested? Just lay that out for us.
Yeah, it's not a dumb question at all. It's a very good question. Our deputy sheriffs, police officers will use very good judgment, common sense. They'll approach people, they'll ask them questions. Obviously, one of the first ones is, where do you live? They want to make sure that they belong there. If you don't belong there and can't explain why you're there, or it doesn't make sense, there will be further questions. The last thing we want to do in law enforcement is arrest somebody. We don't want to take enforcement action. We're out here, we're on a life-saving mission with our partners at the fire department, right? But if you have individuals, and we've unfortunately encountered many, not only arrested for looting, some for trespassing, and I believe our deputy sheriffs have prevented a lot of crimes from occurring just from confronting people and asking them the very questions I just gave you examples of. So we will continue to do that, but we'll listen to our community consistently, because if we're doing something that is causing a significant inconvenience to the residents who live there, we will adjust. But remember, the mission is to protect those neighborhoods from anybody who wants to do harm. And unfortunately, we've had some people trying to do that.
And I just want to follow up. I know that some of our electeds were on a phone call today, a Zoom call with our town council. They are elected for the county unincorporated area of Altadena, elected by the people of Altadena, and this was a request that they made. And mind you, the person that made the request lost her home. But she's doing it for the residents up there. I got a text last night from someone who evacuated, who can't get back up, whose home is intact, but has heard there's looting taking place in his neighborhood. So this is done, and I have to believe that the vast majority of the people are going to support it and are going to work with us. And to the sheriff's point, it's not a perfect science, and if you can prove that you have identification to be in there and or belong there, I'm sure the sheriffs are going to work with you. But at the end of the day, if you don't need to be up there, please stay away. It's still very active as it relates to fire, and we still have firefighters doing their job to make sure that it doesn't spread.
And then as right before the next question comes up, I just want to reiterate to our community that if you see somebody suspicious, somebody who you don't believe belongs there, dial 911. We have deputy sheriffs. In the other jurisdictions, they have police officers that are specifically assigned to what we call looter suppression. But I'm going to tell you something. We have a lot of undercover deputies out there as well. If you call on one of them, I encourage that too, because some of these guys and girls don't look like police officers. I'm telling you that because I'm warning people out there that are going to try and prey on our community. Don't do it. I'm telling you right now, you're going to get arrested. And from my conversation with the district attorney this morning, I've had 2 conversations with him. He's going to prosecute you to the full extent of the law. It is not worth it. Don't try it here.
Sheriff J.R. Hall, NBC4. Will the deployment of the National Guard, will they be armed?
Yes, sir. They are soldiers, and they will be armed. I won't get specifically with what, from a safety perspective for them. But I don't want anybody in the community to be intimidated by that. Please remember, there are members of the California National Guard that are your neighbors. They're your family members and friends. As a matter of fact, a lot of our deputy sheriffs, police officers, and firefighters are California National Guard. They are our people. Trust them. They're here. They're serving us, and they're going to help us out a lot.
And I just want to, before we go on, Chief Gene Harris, City of Pasadena, while we're talking Altadena, we've got Lower Hastings Ranch. Hastings Ranch has been impacted. I know you may want to touch on the looting issue.
Gene Harris, G-E-N-E-H-A-R-R-I-S. As you've heard mentioned up here, and I won't beat the dead horse, looting is a very significant issue for us in law enforcement. In Pasadena, we have moved from the rescue and evacuation efforts, now transitioning to the community care and sanctity mission. And we will approach that with a stern approach to anybody wishing to violate the law, as you heard from the sheriff. The days of special orders that allow people to get away and obfuscate themselves from responsibilities of preying on our community are over here. And we're going to take that mission to new heights in making sure that we prosecute to the full extent of the law anyone who comes in the city to take advantage of these folks who have been removed from their home, evacuated from their home, inconvenienced, and certainly having to deal with loss, as you heard stated by the sheriff. So just understand that in the city of Pasadena, we will be very impactful on the way that we interact with folks who are coming in and out of any curfew zone, any area that's precluded from entry by the National Guard and other agencies that will be represented. And we will certainly make sure we are impacting this community.
Are there any other questions? Thank you.
Hi, Grace Tui, Los Angeles Times. This is for Chief Maroney or any of the fire chiefs. We've heard reports about low water pressure at some of the fire hydrants in fighting the Eaton fire in the Altadena area. Was hoping to understand, did this impact firefighting? Was it an extra challenge you guys had to deal with? Is it ongoing also? And do you have any idea what's causing the low water pressure?
You know what, so I'll answer for LA County and then I'll invite up Chief Augustine to talk, speak for Pasadena, but I have not had any reports that the LA County Fire Department has suffered low water pressure or rain here at this fire. We're in close coordination with the Department of Public Works. We speak to them often, and I haven't been advised of any issues that we've had. I know that there is a boil water directive for the Eaton fire because of the high amount of ash that's in the water. But for firefighting water, I haven't heard that we ran out of water or that we had low water pressure. Chief Augustine, if you can come up and speak to Pasadena's situation.
Thank you, Chief Maroney. Specifically for Pasadena, we did have a short period where we had a low flow state on a very small amount of our hydrants. We had an extreme amount of draw, multiple fire engines pulling water at the same time. We also did have a loss of power, which impacted our pressure. That was for a very temporary amount of time that first evening, and we have no impacts at this time. Thank you. I also, Chief Bartlett from Sierra Madre would like to also add to this.
Yes, thank you for your question. As far as the city of Sierra Madre goes, we have no reports of any issues with water or flow. So again, we have our own water service, water department. I'd like to give them absolute accolades for their making sure that we were able to have sufficient flows and be able to handle the flows. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. Ryan Carter from the Star News. Just a quick question on the incident commander was talking about wind and the possibility of wind still affecting and impacting the firefight. Can anybody elaborate on that a little bit more? Just what you're expecting over the next couple of days, 2 or 3 days? And also, if you just give your name one more time. Thank you.
Yeah, sure, no problem. My name is Don Fraguglia, and I'm an operations section chief, so I'm not the IC. I'm running all the operations on the ground and in the air. Yeah, we're expecting more Santa Ana winds. If you look at the weather forecast, we do expect those. I think we're back in a red flag tomorrow, in fact, and then we're talking about Tuesday next week is another set of maybe even more robust. So, it doesn't want to give up yet. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, coming with increased wind.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so dry out there. I think the last figure I heard was over 260 days without rain down here, so it's very, very dry. Fuel bed's very receptive. Yeah, we expect it.
Before you start, I just want to say, the senator told me that she saw online that there is a rumor that FEMA is going to be at the Pasadena Convention Center, and we're being told that is not the case. That's why when the Congress member provided the address to go online, I'm being told that is what FEMA is asking residents to do. And if you don't have access to a computer, we are working to make sure the libraries are all available and we have personnel there to help assist. Again, there's something going on online, on social media, talking about FEMA being at the Pasadena Convention Center, and that is not the case. I just wanted to set that record straight, and I appreciate you for letting us know. One last question, go ahead.
Sheriff Luna, do you know, are you guys responding to missing persons reports at this time? Do you know how many you guys have received related to the fires?
Yes, we are still continuously not only responding to missing person reports, but really our routine calls for service. Our deputies are doing an amazing job of trying to find a balance between all of their responsibilities. I don't have any specific details. We can follow up with you on some of those. I am aware of a missing person report up at the Palisades fire that ended in tragedy with a death. But if anybody believes somebody's missing, I encourage you to notify or
Everyone have a safe day. Any media that needs a sidebar for Spanish, we'll have a few Spanish speakers over to the side, so if anyone would like to get